Hi, and welcome to another edition of Bauer Business Bites. My name is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media here in Northern Ireland. And through this series, we are connecting with some of Northern Ireland's most interesting businesses and to find out where they are in terms of the rebooting of the Northern Ireland economy. We're also looking to get some great insight and opinion from those various members of those industries. And today it's my pleasure to welcome Gareth Kirk, who's the Regional Director of GLL to Bauer Business Bites. Hi, Gareth.
Hi, David. Good to see you.
And it's good to see you too. And that fantastic piece of advertising right behind you suggests to me that GLL is very much involved in the leisure industry. So for the uninitiated, give us a quick overview of GLL. How would we know them on the streets of Northern Ireland?
GLL is a social enterprise organisation, and we operate the leisure centres on behalf of Belfast City Council, 15 leisure centres across the city of Belfast. We operate under the Better trading name as our customer-facing brand, which you'll see around our leisure centres. So the Better leisure centres in Belfast, which is spread out all across the city for all the residents in the city to come in and use. Our brand spans the UK in terms of England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and we operate over 350 leisure centres in different parts of the countries, supporting local communities in getting into activity and keeping people fit and healthy. So we've taken a model 5 years ago, which was previously an in-house council operated model, transferred into a social enterprise model and spent the last 5 years really building an exciting business with huge investment with our partner, Belfast City Council. £105 million is going into new leisure stock. And we'd certainly see that it's arguably some of the best leisure stock in Europe that's now been delivered. We've just opened up 3 brand new leisure centres in Lisnashara, Brook and Andersonstown. And we're really at a position now, thank goodness, that we could start to reopen these facilities and bounce back from this pandemic and really reboot people into business, but into fitness, health. And we all know the benefits that leisure brings to people's social, mental and physical well-being. So it's really important to us that we start to reach out and welcome people back in.
That's a really, really good overview. Thanks for bringing us up to speed with that. And obviously, many people would have come into contact with your facilities. So just give us a brief synopsis of where the leisure industry is at right now, because it got hit pretty hard, didn't it?
Yeah. The really difficult challenge with leisure was that from the 16th of March, the facilities in Belfast closed down. The 20th of March, facilities across England closed down. We're in a position where we went from having millions of users across all our leisure centres day in, day out, down to zero. And the income stopped. We froze everyone's memberships. It was the right thing to do to look after our customers, to make sure that we protected their financial interests. But we just put everyone on hold. So for the last 3 to 4 months now, none of our customers have been in, and the industry's pretty much come to a standstill. We have been helped by the furlough scheme and the job retention scheme of the government to support staff, and we've been supported by the City Council to make sure we can cover costs. But the reality is, with no income, there are still ongoing costs in holding the service in a steady state. The great news is, and what we're really excited about is, from the 10th of July, we've relaunched fitness centres and classes in Belfast. And what's been great is we've already seen now up to 1,000 people a day, and that's rising. There's 1,200 yesterday, starting to get back into their routine of using the gym and using the fitness classes. And we're warming up in the next few weeks to start to open up swimming pools, waiting for the executives to give sign-off, to give us the go-ahead. But the great thing is we can start to get back to the more regular activity we're having. And then towards the back end of the year, we're hoping to be introducing swimming lessons and some of the more contact sports into the facility. So things are certainly looking much brighter. We are in a position where we invited back 14,000 of our members who were previously training with us back in. And we have seen a small drop. About 12% have said they either want to remain on a freeze or come back. But we see that as quite promising, because that says, look, there's a lot of people that are back in. The response from the staff and the customers has been a level of hesitance in the early stages. But the reassuring fact is, once people have been in and actually seen the measures that we've taken, which is around everyone must book on an app in advance of coming in. So they have a booking time slot. It's maximum of an hour. And we put a significant amount of what we're calling COVID secure overlay throughout the buildings to make sure there's one-way systems, signage, social distance spacing to make sure that we keep people safe. And the great response we have from our customers is that when they come in, they're recognising the work that's gone in and the efforts of the staff to make a difference. We had the slight benefit, perhaps ahead of the hospitality sector, the retail sector, who'd been open a few weeks before us, where we took some of those learnings and been able to apply them in Belfast and start to really get people back in. And I think that as a business sector, we need to do that more, look across different environments, different businesses, public, private, the social enterprise sector, say, look, how do we learn from others and make the best out of what we're doing?
Well, that's really, really positive. How do you think health and fitness is going to play a part in people's overall general well-being? I mean, I've never seen so many people running, walking, trying to lift things in their garden, and obviously now we're returning to some level of normality, albeit not full normality in our world. There are a lot of talks about people's general health and well-being as we move forward. How do you think this is going to play a part in your future?
David, it's absolutely key. And we always saw this as part of our future of the business, that we know that the health agenda is huge, whether it's supporting people with health problems, supporting people through obesity, helping people give up smoking. There's a number of schemes that we run through our leisure centres, which are very health focused for specific avenues of health intervention. But what we also know, just the general health of the nation is absolutely key. We were really kind of pleased to see the amount of activity that people were doing in lockdown, whether it was walking the dog, gardening, getting out with their families into activity, which is essential. But we do know that everyone that's been back in the doors in the last 2 weeks, we're just bursting to get back into the gym. One, to get back to their favourite bit of kit or their favourite class, but two, to start to just connect with people still through a social distance environment that they used to attend a class with, they used to come and use the gym with. And that's been really quite heartwarming to see, because people do rely on activity. We know that everything we read and we hear about this pandemic and the effects of COVID-19 is the better you prepare yourself from a health point of view, making sure that you are fit and healthy, that you are keeping your weight under control, that you are getting regular exercise is absolutely critical. So a lot of our programs, as we start to get through the first few months of opening, we'll be starting to open up all activities for customers to come in, because we recognise that not everyone wants to use the gym and everyone wants to use a class. So we need to start to expand that programme, which we will do in the coming weeks and months, and get people back in to activity. We're hopeful that the government will be supporting us, in terms of saying, look, there's got to be much more focus on health intervention. It's very much been about, saying, look, we need preventive measures in place, and the activities that people can come in and do at the 15 venues across Belfast give an opportunity for absolutely everything. So whether it's around 60 plus, when I come from 60 plus mornings, where there's 10 different activities on a leisure centre they can take part, through to mothers, fathers and toddlers coming in for swim sessions or activity sessions, we need to make sure that we're catering for all of the people in the community and they can really connect with their local leisure centre. Belfast is in a very privileged position with respect to leisure offer, where we have 15 facilities in a relatively close, tight-knit city. And the standard and quality of them through the investment that's gone is phenomenal and would, rival any city out there.
Well, Gareth, it sounds like that things are finally moving in the right direction, and it's good to see and hear the developments, certainly from where you're coming from. We're coming to the close of this edition of Business Bites. If you could just summarise in one line for us your message to the Northern Ireland executive in terms of swimming pools and the next phase, what would your request be?
Our request in the executive is to continue to support the leisure and the health sector in helping us get facilities open safely, and then really push that message out to the general public to say it's so important to look after your health, get into your local leisure centres, train safely, look after your mental, physical and social well-being, and let's get back to activity in leisure centres.
Gareth, we wish you the very best, and us here at Bauer Media Northern Ireland will support you in all your endeavours in the leisure industry. Indeed, some of us here could do with a little bit of your help. I'm not looking at anyone in person, but listen, thanks very much for being our guest this week. It's a pleasure to talk to you, Gareth. Best of luck.
Thank you, David. Thanks so much.